Well, folks, those Kash Patel hearings were absolutely off the rails. I thought that the RFK Jr. ones were completely unhinged. Now it's up for debate as to which ones were more dramatic and more disastrous and more embarrassing on the United States. But what's crazy to me as I sit there and watch those hearings is how that MAGA went from being the party of Donald Trump, who said he was going to drain the swamp. And they ran on this idea that Donald Trump was going to drain the swamp. Well, he gets in there the first time. Things don't go his way. He gets voted out. And then that just adds to their conspiracies. Now they think it was all taken from them. And if Donald Trump can just get back in, he'll drain the swamp again. And this time when he drains the swamp, he'll surround himself by nothing but loyalists. And what is so funny is watching these people who used to be podcasters and built their entire career off of draining the swamp are now part of the swamp. Now, I highly recommend you go watch the Patel hearings because they're a disaster, and we do need to understand the type of people who are leading us now and the type of people that Donald Trump put into a position of power. One of the things that I was going to do the first day that I was watching those hearings, I thought, I think I would just play some of the clips of him on his podcast. I would just play those back to him, and Jamie Raskin did just that. Take a look.
Join the FBI, you railed against it for covering up Jeffrey Epstein's human trafficking ring. Let me refresh your memory with this clip.
It has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
So you finished that December 2023 interview with a challenge to the FBI and harsh words for Republicans in Congress for not getting the Epstein files out to the public. You can see this clip.
Boy pants, and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are, you said. You emphasized that the president and the FBI director each had complete authority to release Epstein's client list. You said Epstein's black book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI. Look at this clip.
This is way off the topic, but who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black book?
Black book.
FBI.
But who? That is, I mean, there's...
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
All right, so you were sworn in as director more than 200 days ago. Now the black book is under your direct control. So why haven't you released the names of Epstein's co-conspirators in the rape and sex trafficking of young women and girls? Director...
I can answer that. Simple, because of who's on the list. I mean, you can literally use his words against him. If you'll notice how that the question got framed to him on the podcast, it was like, they're sitting on it. This is an evil thing to do. Why are they doing it? Well, simple. It's because of who's on the list. Okay, well, who has the book? Well, the director of the FBI. You're the director of the FBI now. Why aren't you releasing it? Well, I mean, it was so good to see somebody just bring their words and give it back to them, because they have put that out there for years, folks. This has been one of their biggest talking points for the longest time. They ran on it. They built their whole platforms off of this idea that they were going to drain the swamp. And now sitting back watching them become the swamp is pretty disgusting. But it is great when you got people who can take the questions to them. And the clips I picked out here are my favorite moments where he's absolutely cornered and he just has nowhere to go on this. Take a look.
Remembering your oath to tell the truth, did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
Did you ever tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The Attorney General and I have had numerous discussions about the entirety of the Epstein files and the reviews conducted by our team.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
And we have released where President Trump's name is in the Attorney's
It's a simple question.
file.
Did you tell the Attorney General that the President's name is in the Epstein files?
During many conversations that the Attorney General and I have had on the matter of Epstein, we have reviewed.
The question is simple.
Who
did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out?
Yes or no, Director?
Use the alphabet.
Yes or no?
No, A, B, C,
Director,
D, E, F.
it sounds like you don't want to tell us. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files?
Why don't you try serving your
Director,
constituency
did
by
you tell the
focusing on
Attorney
reducing
General
violent
that Donald
crime in this
Trump's name-
country and the number of pedophiles that are
Director,
legally
reclaiming
harbored
my
in
time,
your
Director.
sanctuary cities in
Director,
California?
reclaiming
I'll
my
work with
time.
you on that. Do
Regular
you
order,
want to
Mr.
work with
Chairman.
us on that?
Director,
I'm
reclaiming
the
my
lawless
time.
gentleman from California.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
Question has been asked and answered.
You've not answered it, and we will take your evasiveness as a consciousness of guilt.
Why couldn't he answer the question? What was so hard about answering that question? Well, because they were going to be able to pull his words up and show him come back at him. And I just wonder how much he feels like he's dying inside when he's sitting there. Because we've all been in situations where we did things we didn't want to do. I mean, we've all been in situations where we said, I'll never go back and work at that place again. I've done that. Man, I'll never go back there. I hated that place. I'll never go back. And then times get tough and you go back and then you're trying to like walk it back and go, well, it wasn't too bad. But he's sitting here with one of the most serious things this country's ever faced. We have a president of the United States who is tied and connected to one of the biggest child sex traffickers ever. And we all want to get to the bottom of it and know what the answers are. And here he sits, just walking it back. So I've been in situations before where I've had to, eat my words, but never like that. Never on that level. It's completely unbelievable. But in this next clip, Jared Moskowitz just absolutely corners him on the whole drawing in the birthday book because Trump says that's not him. He says that's not how he talks, that he doesn't doodle, which we found out, yeah, he does doodle. There's doodlings of him out there. There is those things. And he says that's not his signature. Well, if it's not his signature and he's completely innocent, wouldn't you think he would investigate those who forged his signature? I love the way Moskowitz just backs him into a corner on this one. He's got nowhere to go again.
Attack them.
Let me move forward. The president has, you've seen the picture of the woman's body with the writing and the president's signature. The president says that's not his. Okay? President says it's not his. The Republican colleagues say it's not his. The administration say it's not his. Will you be opening up an investigation into the Epstein estate for putting out a fake document with the president's signature linking him to the world's largest pedophile ring? Will you be opening that investigation into that?
On what basis?
On what basis? They literally put out a fake document, according to the president, with a fake signature. It's a forgery of the president of the United States signature. That's the basis.
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay, I look forward to that investigation. Am I over? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate your diligence.
Do you honestly think that we will ever see that investigation? Do you honestly think that Kash Patel will open up an investigation on that one? But that's one of those rare moments in politics where someone got backed into a corner and had nowhere to go, and the only thing that he could say in that moment was, yes, sure, I'll look into it. Because there was no way he could walk that one back. And I think that's how you go about questioning these people. You got to find a way to trap them and trap them with their own words and trap them with what they put out there into the world. Folks, for years, they ran on Epstein. It was their biggest issue. They talked about draining the swamp. But the more and more that we see them now trying to cover it up, the very people who used to talk about the deep state are now in the deep state covering it all up and not just putting it out there for the world to see. So it makes them look guilty as shit. Does it not? The very people that said this is the deep state, it's being controlled and ran by the deep state, and now they're in there covering it up. If they were completely innocent, and if that signature was forged, they could prove it. They could bring out all the evidence. But if you'll notice, they always just bark at someone like Hunter Biden for a comment he made, or they'll bark at someone like a James Carville for a comment he made, but they never barked at Michael Wolff, the biographer that said it to start with. They never barked at him. Because if they did it to him, they would have to sit down and talk about it all, and questions would get asked, and there's a lot of questions that they don't want to have to deal with. But it is truly remarkable to see them become the swamp, to watch them become everything that they accused us of being. But that's always what it is with them. It's always projection, and they'll always find a way to spin it. I'll tell you, it's been a hard story for me to follow because I've never seen so many different twists and turns, and I've always used the phrase the hoops of mental gymnastics. It's beyond that now. It's like that show Ninja Warrior. It's like, I don't know how they run through all that stuff. I don't know how they keep a thought in their head, because if I was in Kash Patel's shoes, would be like, oh shit, which may have been the very kind of moment that he had, and now he's just having to sit there. But I wonder how it feels to sit there after all those years of building your platform on one thing, and then you become the very thing that you spoke so loudly against. You know, I'm pretty sure that if all of a sudden I came here on the channel and I said, you know, I don't believe in democracy and I don't think women should have any control over their own bodies, I'm pretty sure y'all would play back all the videos I've made where I've said the opposite, and you would be saying, what are you talking about, Brando? What has happened to you? Isn't there anyone in MAGA that will look at Kash Patel and say, what's happened to him? Is anyone out there saying it? I don't necessarily follow MAGA well enough to know if there's one of them out there, but for the most part, all I've seen is just them defending it. But I don't know. Maybe we're just cut from a different cloth. We're the kind of people that if it was us and someone ran on an entire issue and then got in the position of power where they could reveal everything they had been saying, we would be expecting them to say it. And then if they turned and said the opposite, we would call it out. That's what reasonable people do. But you got to remember, we're not up against reasonable people.